Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I saw Larry read through this and I wanted to do it anyway, so I was like, that's the push I needed to film it. And this is tier ranking every book that I read in 2024. I read 43, which is good for me. I'm very proud of myself for that. One of these books is my current read, but I've still added it anyway. I've added a section for current reads, and my little categories I have done in, like, I use Larry's ones and put them in my own video because I liked the little tabs. So I have them all on my laptop. It's taken me a lot longer to do than I intended. I'm also sick, so I will do my best not to sound too sick. I have my ginormous bottle of Fanta ready for if I need it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the categories we have are God tier reads. So these are books that, like, just my absolute favourite books of the whole year. I love this so much. I liked this. Honestly, no feelings come to mind. I literally do not remember a single thing. Because Larry put this because she forgets a lot. I also forget a lot. So, yeah. Not bad, but also not good. Meh. Kind of like just in the middle. Disappointed. Books that I was expecting more of. Okay, no, I didn't like this book. The worst piece of fiction ever to exist. And currently reading. So, I don't think there'll be any that in the worst piece of fiction to ever exist in this video. However, last year that would have been a different story. So yeah, I've obviously got all of my books down here, all 43 of them, and without further ado, let's start. So I've put these in order of what I read them, from like the first book I read this year to the last one. So we are starting with Done and Dusted. I really liked this book. I'm gonna put it in liked. That's the wrong category. I'm gonna put it in I liked this because I did love it at the time, but I'm not ranking series based, like, I'm not putting series all together. I'm gonna separate them on like how I felt about each of the books. So Done and Dusted is not my favourite in the series, so it will go in the I liked this. Done and Dusted, I liked this. However, my favourite in the series so far, Swift and Saddled. Honestly, I love this book so much. These characters, Wes and Ada, I think about them all the time. I think about them every single day, and I just want to go back. I will be doing a reread in preparation for Wild and Wrangled, which I'm very excited for. Okay, Glass Houses. I feel like I should have made a category that's just like childhood nostalgia. I reread them. I'm rereading the Morganville Vampire series. I got them all for my birthday, so I'm rereading them slowly. So Glass Houses. I think I'll put it in I liked this. I did love it, but it's not I loved this so much level. So yes, that fits there. Now, I feel like a lot of people are going to come for me for this one. We have Flawless by Elsie Silver. I didn't mean to put it there. I enjoyed some of it, but not all of it. But it's not... No, I feel like I'm going to put it there. I feel like a lot of people are going to come for me for that one and be like, excuse me, what do you mean? And I'm sorry, but I just, yeah. That's all there is to say. Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This one is going in Honestly No Feelings Come to Mind, just because I liked it. The Dirty Air series will still be my favourite Lauren Asher series that I've read, and it will take a lot for anything by Lauren Asher to take that place. So yeah, I did enjoy it, but here we are. Again, Throne of Glass is going to join the first Throne of Glass book. It took me a whole year to read the book. And I know, a lot of people are going to be like, what the hell? It took me a whole year to read the first book. So I can't really put it any higher than Honestly No Feelings Come to Mind. Because once I was into it, I did enjoy it. But I also have to take into account how long it actually took me to read the book. So, yeah. Next book We have Matthew Perry's autobiography. I loved this book so much. Going into his world and seeing behind the scenes and reading his actual words was just so powerful, especially with his passing last year. I have always been a big Friends fan. It's my go-to comfort show, and Chandler Bing is the character that I took the most comfort from. So I honestly, reading the stuff that he went through and the pain that he endured, if you get the opportunity to read that book, please do. Please, please, please do. Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I'm putting this in I liked this because, again, it's not my favourite. It took me a little bit to get into, but I did really enjoy it when I got into it. Joey Lynch. My favourite character from the whole universe. This isn't his book. This is Shannon and Johnny's, and oh my god, I can't say much without going into too much. But that series, oh my god. The Play by L. Kennedy. My favourite in the Briar U, not the Off Campus. My favourite in the Briar U series. I love The Play. I love Hunter and I love Demi. So their story, it was beautiful. I just really enjoyed the story. And I know this one gets a lot of mixed reviews, and there are some tropes in it that I don't like, but I just think the characters made up for it, and just them. Now, we have our first entry into the God tier. Redeemed by Lauren Asher. I could go on about this book every single day for the rest of my life. I loved this book. I loved these characters. Throttled was my favourite in the Dirty Air series. I read Collided and I read Wrecked, and Throttled still remained top. And then I read Redeemed. I love it. I love it so much. As you guys can see, I'm not very difficult to please with books. Okay, Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. I loved this book. I loved this one. It took me a little bit to get into Binding 13, but Keeping 13, I was hooked from the get-go. And just, oh my goodness. I actually can't describe the thoughts and emotions that went on. I will insert a picture here of me, like 6 chapters into Keeping 13. The way Binding ended, I don't know how I didn't immediately pick up Binding afterwards. I don't know how I didn't immediately pick up Keeping afterwards. Right. I'm going to put this in Night Shift by Annie Crown. Not bad, but also not good. I didn't mesh with this book. Like, I can't say I wasn't disappointed by it because it was a Wattpad book originally, so I kind of expected it to not be what I wanted it to be. But I didn't mesh with it. I struggled with it, and yeah. Hideaway. Kai Mori is all I can really say. I love Kai. Oh, this book. I really, really did love this book so much. These characters, this journey. I love the Devil's Night series. But Kai has not been knocked off of his throne. However, his book is not my favourite. Conclave. Oh, that's Kill Switch. Conclave, I'll put in that I liked this. It wasn't an... Actually, no. I'll put it in No Feelings Come to Mind. It obviously wasn't anything special. It's kind of just a filler book. There was a scene, and I was like... But it's just kind of there. Whereas, Kill Switch. This book. Oh my god. I went into this book not liking Damon at all. There's certain things he's said, certain things he's done, and I just didn't like him. So I was like, yeah, it's just not going to be a good book for me. I was wrong. Chloe would always tell me, she'd be like, you'll understand soon. And I was like, no, I won't. No, I won't. And here I am. I love Damon. I love Kill Switch. And I don't know how Nightfall is going to beat it. But we shall see if it does. Yeah. Okay. Heartache and Hope. I really don't remember this book that well. I remember certain bits. I remember little aspects. But the book as a whole, I just don't really remember it. I read this because Lila recommended me to read it. And it just, yeah. It's just there. So, Heartless by Elsie Silver. I'm going to put it in Honestly No Feelings Come to Mind. And I know I feel like so many people are going to come for me for it. I'm going to reread the Chestnut Springs series at some point. But I feel like I was falling into a slump when I was reading Flawless and when I was reading Heartless. That I just didn't enjoy them as much as I would have liked to. But then also Heartless has a trope that I do not usually enjoy. And it was a surprise one. It's not really a big part of the book. Well, it is. It's not really like a big focus in the book. But yeah, it's just kind of meh for me. But it's not like that the meh category. Whereas I've only read like story 1 in Destroy Me, but I just didn't like it. And maybe that's just because I'm not an Aaron Warner girly. And I know people are going to be like, whoa, do these exist? They do. I'm not an Aaron Warner girly. It's just there. And look what we're up to. So we have Secrets of the Dead by Laura Carter. I reread this book this year in preparation for Legacy of the Heirs, which is now out. So go read it. And I still love this book so much. I love Caleb. I love Elisara. I love Nasiah. I love Laurel. I love all the characters. And just going back to Novicia, I can't wait to return. No pun intended, if you know what I mean. But I can't wait to go back. Whereas Legacy of the Heirs. This book sent me on a whirlwind of emotions. I don't have one of these. But I wore my imaginary I Told You So t-shirt when everyone was coming to the realization on Caleb. And just going back to Novicia, being back with these characters. The plot twists were twisting. There's literally no words that will ever do this book justice. And I just love them. I love this series, and I'm so excited for what's to come. So please go read Secrets of the Dead and Legacy of the Heirs by Laura Carter immediately. Would appreciate it. And yeah, you'll thank us all later. After Legacy of the Heirs, we needed some fillers. We ended up reading the Heartstoppers, and I liked them. I'm going to put both of them there. But I did later find out the versions I read weren't the full versions. So I haven't actually fully read them, but I still like them, so they will go comfortably there. Okay. Pole Position. That again, I will put in I liked this, because I didn't love it. There was certain things that it lacked, but it was my very first Formula 1 romance, and that was very exciting for me to read. And I did enjoy it, and I would read more on those two. But yeah, I feel like you lot are gonna actually hate this video. The Dare by Elle Kennedy. So this one is the last in the Briar Use, and it wasn't my favourite. I'm going to put it in Honestly No Thoughts, no feelings come to mind, because yeah, like I said, it wasn't one of my favourites. I think if anything it was my least favourite in the Briar Use series, but I did have fun reading it, and it was very bittersweet because obviously I was then leaving that generation of the universe and then heading into the Campus Diaries. But yeah, that's how I feel. Saving 6. Okay. This one I'm going to put in, I liked this. Because I was quite bored a bit of the time. At times during saving. But I think that's just because we kind of went back in time to the history, to the lore, all of that kind of stuff. So it just wasn't really anything special to me. But Joey and Aoife, I did enjoy seeing their origin and kind of like watching everything that happened before Binding and Keeping and getting us on track with that. But yeah. I'm also going to add the Morganvilles to I liked this. You know what? No. I'm going to make a category at the bottom. We're going to put it at the bottom. Called Childhood, well, Younger Geordie's Faves. Okay, so those books are all going to move down here because the Morganville Vampire series will always hold a special place in my heart. And they're just, I don't know, I read them when I was 11. Like I started reading them at the age of 11. And I got all of my friends at school to read them as well. And it was just such a fun time. And I just love going back to that universe and rereading the stories. Happy Place. Oh my god. Oh, I thought I missed a book then. Yeah. I didn't enjoy it. This was the first book club book I read for my in-person book club. And I just didn't mesh with it. And I'm really sad about that because I was so excited for Emily Henry's work. But it's okay because I'll give her the work a try and see if I like those. However, this next one was also a book club book. Oh, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I actually can't fathom how good this book was and how often I think about this book. Yeah. This book, these characters, please, everyone just read Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I'm so excited to read the rest of her series. I'm so excited to go into her other series. And the ending, yeah. Okay, I'm going to put all the togs where I think they're going. I'm going to put this here, this here, this here, and this here. So, Crown of Midnight, I did enjoy, but not as much as the others that I read. But I did love it, and I did love the twists and the turns. Yeah. Heir of Fire really threw us into the deep end and was like, let's get you going. Let's introduce Rowan. Let's do all of this. And honestly, I actually can't. And then we had Assassin's Blade, which, obviously for those who don't know, a lot of people read Assassin's Blade first. I read it fourth, right before Queen of Shadows. And I'm really glad that I read it there because I feel like the last two stories in the novella led me into Queen of Shadows, and a lot of people disagree with that, but that's my opinion, and we're all allowed our own opinions on where we think we should read it. But that's where I read it, and that's what I enjoyed. And yeah, and then Queen of Shadows. Yeah, basically that. Basically that. Yeah. I'm very nervous for the rest of the series. Very nervous. Collide by Balcabra. I'm going to put it in Honestly No Feelings. I enjoyed it. Actually, no. I'll put it in I liked it. Cross the Line will go in Honestly No Feelings. I liked Collide more than I liked Cross the Line. They were both... I read Collide because I got the arc for Spiral, which I still have to read. It comes out in January. And then I read Cross the Line because it was the romance pick for mine and Em's book club. And I was very upset. It could have been a lot better. But it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm not going to love every book. And I'm not... Yeah. Okay. Redeeming 6. Immediately. God tier. Redeeming 6 sits with me every single day of my entire life. I think about moments from that book. I don't actually think I have cried more than I've cried at that book. Like, at a book. That is probably the book I've cried the most tears for. And I didn't think it could get worse. Boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. It got so much worse. And I just... Yeah. Oh my God, Joey. The poor boy. I just can't. I'm going to cry thinking about him. Oh. Then we have The Dare by Harley LaRue. This one is a novella. I feel like Honestly No Feelings shouldn't be called Honestly No Feelings. Because I have feelings. But, yeah. There was certain moments that I was like, yeah. That's all there is to say. Okay. Lost and Lassoed. I liked this book. I did like this book. Do I wish it was more? I do. But I did like it. It did not take over Swift and Saddled for me, though. It did not beat Swift and Saddled. And that's okay. But, yeah. I loved that. I do love a single parent book. Not a lot of people know this about me because I don't like the pregnancy trope. But I love the single parent trope. I love when the kid is already there. And everyone's going to be like, oh my God, you're hypocritical because some of the books you've been talking about have the pregnancy trope and you've rated them highly. We ignore that part because I like when the pregnancy trope is done well. So I struggle to find those kind of books. But Lost and Lassoed, there was so many things that Gus did. And I was like, oh my God, you're making my heart melt. And it made me so happy. And it just, yeah, it was the perfect continuation of the series. Taming 7. I enjoyed this book. But there was things that I didn't like. And that's okay. That's all right. But yeah, I feel like there's certain things that were contradicted in this book from the other books. And yeah, it wasn't my favourite in the series. Lord of Misrule, again, the Morganville Vampire series, is going in my childhood faves. Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. I liked it. I was loving it at first, and then there were things that happened that kind of knocked it down a couple stars for me. But I did enjoy it. And it was nice to read a Colleen Hoover again because I hadn't read a Colleen Hoover in a while. So that welcomed me back into it. And finally, we have Hate You Always, which is my current read. It's what I'm currently reading. It's on my Kindle at the moment. Reading it on my Kindle. I am... How far in am I? Let's have a look. I also really need a wee. I'm 57% of the way through. I fell asleep reading this last night. I fell asleep at like 9:30, which I never do. So I need to get a crack on with that because the year ends tomorrow. It's the last day of 2024 tomorrow, guys. But yeah, so that is my tier ranking. So in God tier, we have Redeemed by Lauren Asher, Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas, Legacy of the Earth by Laura Carter, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. In I Loved This So Much, we have Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage, Matthew Perry's autobiography, The Play by Elle Kennedy, Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, Hideaway by Penelope Douglas, Secrets of the Dead by Laura Carter, Air of Fire and Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. In I Liked This, we have Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, Heartstopper Volume 2 and 3 by Alice Oseman, Pole Position by Rebecca J. Caffrey, Saving Six by Chloe Walsh, Crown of Midnights by Sarah J Maas, Collide by Bal Cabra, Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage, Taming 7 by Chloe Walsh, and Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. In Honestly, No Feelings Come to Mind, we have Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher, Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, Conclave by Penelope Douglas, Heartless by Elsie Silver, The Dare by Elle Kennedy, Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas, Cross the Line by Simone Sultani, and The Dare by Harley LaRue. In I Literally Do Not Remember a Single Thing, we have Heartache and Hope by Jay McLean, Not Bad but Also Not Good, Meh, we have Flawless by Elsie Silver and Night Shift by Annie Crown, Nothing Made It Into the Disappointed, Okay No, I Didn't Like This Book, we have Destroy Me by Tahira Mafi and Happy Place by Emily Henry, The Worst Piece of Fiction Ever to Exist did not have a book this year. Currently reading, we have Hate You Always by Jennifer I do not want to try and pronounce that name. And Younger Geordie's faves, we have Glass Houses, Dead Girls Dance, Midnight Alley, Feast of Fools, and Lord of Misrule by Rachel Kane. So that is my wrap up. That is my tier ranking of my books that I read this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope this inspired you to read some of these books. And yeah, please let me know in the comments below some content that you would like to see in the new year. I want to be more consistent with my YouTube channel. And yeah, if this is the last video you guys see of me this year, then I hope you guys have the best new year. Thank you so much for staying with me for this year, and I hope to see you in 2025. Bye!